Welcome to the bold analysis. There is a question that Martha asked me here, and I would want to respond to this question. He said, Kevin, what do you think of Wamunyoro visits? Who are the kind of leaders visiting the former DP? Do they have a political muscle? Generally, do they have political power to give State House sleepless nights? Martha, I want to tell you today, from the speeches in Budalan'gi and Vihiga, Rigathi Gachagua is giving President Ruto sleepless nights. And even as you condemn Rigathi after that impeachment, I think the threat to William Ruto's presidency, according to him, is none other than the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. I'm going to show you the speeches, and at the end of this analysis, make sure you watch to the end, you will concur with that position, that the only person and the only threat that Ruto, in his SWOT analysis of strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the only threat Ruto is seeing is actually Rigathi Gachagua. So before we delve more into that, I am still imploring on you that help us support Charles' body so that it can be taken for the final rites, burial rites in Seme. We supported, I know you remember this first, we supported Charles here in December. He was taken in some private hospital. He was taken, transferred to the public hospital. He was supposed to be taken home, but didn't go because of other logistical challenges, and his situation was more, he was deteriorating. So he died, and that is God's plan. We did our part as the Bold family, but that was God's plan. So after he died, the body is still lying in the mortuary, Mama Lucy, pending some bill, and of course also taking the body back home. I have discussed with the family, and our foundation as our team, we are going to do is to hand them over a check of 100,000. Friday morning. So I have between today and tomorrow so that I can get around 47,000 so that on Friday, I can hand over the check to the family so that they plan on how to take the body home and give the final rites. Kindly support us achieve that. This is going to be a very brief fundraiser. We are only raising that 100,000. We already have 53,000. So kindly support us with anything you have, that 50, that 20, that 100, so that to Malize, I think it will really be, I will really have helped the situation. And thank you very much for those responding. You are 50, you are 20, you are 10, you are 5 bob. Is not in vanity. Kidogo kidogo hapa tunasemanga, that kidogo kidogo itajaza kibaba, and God will bless you. I really feel that we shall have really played a big part. All the speakers in Budalan'gi were under strict instruction that they only have to attack one man, Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua. You will even realize that even Wamumbi, the Madira member of parliament, was airlifted for that objective. Just listen to this.
Mukishikana na Agwambo, tunashikana na yeye. So watu wawache hii mambo kando kando. Ile mtu alikuwa vitina, kwa sababu yeye hata tulikuwa tunaweka vitu ya Busia. Hii Kipes. Nikienda huko ametoa. Ati hatuna share. Paka rais mwenyewe anauliza, wapi ile mambo ya Busia hapa? Mtukufu rais, kama ingekuwa wewe hata hii Busia haingepata. Wewe mwenyewe wakati hiyo ndio ulikuwa unakuja, unasema ile vitu ya Busia iko wapi? Akaweka, kwa sababu sisi tulikuwa tunatolewa kwa sababu ya mambo ya shares. Lakini ya Mungu si mengi. Echari shares ulanu baki na mahina kale.
Mimi nimefika hapa kutoka Nyeri. Kutoka pale Madhera, kijiji inaitwa Wamunyoro. Mimi ndio mbunge hapo. Na ninasimama na huyu rais wetu. Sababu rais wetu anafanya kazi Kenya yote. Si nyinyi mnataka barabara? Na mnataka stima? Na mnataka soko? alafu mtu mwingine wa huko kwetu anasema ati nyinyi msijengewe soko. Hiyo ni ungwana kweli? Hiyo ni ungwana watu wa Luanda? Si nyinyi ni watu wa Kenya na mlipiga kura? Na ndio maana sisi vijana tunamesema tutasimama na rais wetu William Samoei Ruto, kwa sababu yeye anaunganisha wa Kenya.
Kunguni kidogo kidogo, na moja hiyo kunguni iko hapa Kakamega. Tapeli mwingine alijifanya Secretary General wa chama cha UDA, tukafurusha yeye. Nataka nimwambie wanaungana na watu wa ukabila, eti waje wagawe watu wa Kakamega na watu wa Mlima Kenya. Sisi na nyinyi ni kitu kimoja, na hatutatenganishwa na tapeli ama yule mwizi wa huko kwa mlima. Mumekubali tuungane? Tuungane nyuma ya rais. Hebu nione mikono kwa watu wa.
For lack of a better word, these speeches are pathetic. Allow me to repeat it. These are pathetic speeches. Otuma's speech is pathetic. I don't know how you want to convince. You know, sometimes even if you are dealing with an illiterate crowd, not an illiterate crowd, no, but you're dealing with a crowd that cannot question you. You cannot say that, now that project, where does Rigathi come in? For that project, where does Rigathi come in? Surely. Even if you want to praise President for that project, where does Rigathi come in? And especially this question to Otuoma. Allow me to say it's pathetic because you cannot say, like that MP, that Wamumbi, what is the essence? I'm wondering that you're taking all your time, instead of talking about that project, instead of saying the way that project is going to help and what the people should always do about it, you take all your time talking about one person. Now, this is the politics of antagonism being done by people that are lecturing the country about unity. Do you really mean it? Those speeches are pathetic. And now I agree. Those are not what people say. Those are not development tours. Those are political rallies that are meant to wing the people. So every speaker, and something that puzzles me is this: Rigathi have never gone to Western. The last time closest Rigathi went was in Kakamega. Rigathi is not campaigning anywhere. Rigathi is only talking in Mount Kenya. So how all of a sudden he has become a topic? This is a man you impeached, you condemned, you felt is nobody. Today, that is the name in the lips of politicians. Martha, I told you. The Ruto's fear now is Rigathi. Now, when they went to Luanda, they went to Vihiga. Yesterday, Vihiga Senator Sotse asked several questions that the president needed to answer. We didn't have an answer to any of them. Now, when they went to Luanda, Ruto had a shortest speech because of these heckling incidences. They could not make speeches there. And I can tell you, compare the other speeches about attacks on Rigathi, several of them were in Budalan'gi, in Budalan'gi. So this is because they were launching a market in Kakamega and they could not make speeches because of the market. And I'll turn to tell you why there was heckling.
Luanda oye! Luanda oye! Basi, kwa niaba ya watu ya Luanda, kwa niaba ya watu wa Luanda, nasema hivi: kwa niaba ya watu wa Luanda, natoa shukurani kwa Hello?
Adagala
ambaye ni mama wetu wa kaunti. Nyinyi nyamazeni kidogo. Sema tu mbele.
Watu wa Luanda, leo ni siku ya maendeleo. Rais, mimi naomba hii market mpya inajengwa, wakina mama wenye wanafanyia hapa kazi wapewe kipaumbele. Kuna cartels wenye wanataka kuja, wameleta hapa fujo, wanataka kuchukua hizi stalls ziendee wa mama.
A day before, you remember the analysis I did about Osotsi's letter. Osotsi said about that market. Now that market, demolition was done a day before this speech. Demolition was done yesterday. So after, you know, when markets are demolished, the traders were really counting losses and really they were agitated. So even people who were planning it, even if you wanted to launch it, so it comes out clearly that it is William Ruto that influenced demolition of those stalls. So even when Ruto went to Luanda, he spent the shortest time there. You can check around. He didn't spend more time in Luanda because already the demolitions affected some traders, and Luanda was very hostile because of that demolition. So Otsotsi skipped it because he knew of what was going to happen. Now, I want to challenge the president and his team. Rigathi is not the enemy. And probably Rigathi is not even on ballot. And, you know, he's not on ballot. The enemy, or what should be the concern, is what Sifuna is saying in this video.
Mimi nimeshangaa sana wakati nafika hapa. Ni mara yangu ya kwanza kuja katika kaunti ya Mandera. Kuanzia kwa airport, ukishuka kwa airport, mtu umetoka Nairobi ukiwa msafi unaingia kwa vumbi. Na Uasin Gishu County, mahali ambapo rais anatoka, kuna airport ngapi? 2. Zote ziko na lami. Moja international, ingine airstrip ya kulanda machopa yake. Sasa akikuja hapa tumuulize, wakati unajenga airstrip 2 Uasin Gishu, kilomita 3 ya lami hapa Mandera, itakushinda? Sasa ukiweka hiyo ndio waulize hawa watu kura. Lakini tukiendelea kuishi kwa vumbi hivi, haiwezekani. Mheshimiwa Roba, nimeshtuka sana. Mimi naingia Mandera, hakuna stima Mandera. Mwaka mzima tangu Ramadhan, mwaka ule mwingine. Mwaka mzima watu wanakaa bila stima kuanzia Ramadhani ya last year. Ramadhan ndio hii ingine na tupata chini ya wiki 4, hakuna stima Mandera. Wewe unatuambia unataka 99%, utatoa wapi bana my friend? Kama watu wa Mandera hapa hawana stima, generator zimekufa mwaka mzima. Kila siku governor anapiga simu Nairobi, wanamwambia generator zinakuja. Ambia Ruto akuje na hizo generator next week. Akuje nazo. Niseme hii maneno ama niwache? Niseme nisiseme? Kwa sababu hakuna stima Mandera. Hata hospitali ile tumepelekwa ambayo ilijengwa na county government inakimbia na generator. Mtu anapelekwa theater ako na generator, mafuta ikiisha kwa hiyo generator tunapoteza mtu. Kwa sababu ya hiyo shida ya stima hakuna maji. Nimeenda kwa fire station ya municipal, kitu kimejengwa vizuri na pesa za devolution zile baba aliwapatia, lakini maji hadi lazima iletwe na Bowser kwa sababu hatuna stima ya kuleta maji. Utatoa wapi kura 98% bwana my friend? Muache kudanganyana bwana. Tuache kudanganyana. Usiposuluhisha masuala ambayo yanawakabidhi wananchi, wacha kutusumbua hapa. Patiana hiyo nafasi mtu mwingine afanye hiyo kazi kama kazi imekushinda. Ama namna gani? Tunaambiwa huko Nairobi, unajua nimewaambia ukikula chakula ya mama yako tu unafikiria kila kitu iko sawa. Nimekuja hapa nikashangaa tukiwa katika ofisi zetu kule Nairobi, air condition ndio yeye inalia mzuri. Cherargei amekaa namna hii amekula chakula ya bunge. Anasema county government isiguze kazi ambazo ni za kitaifa. Haya, mimi pia nataka nijiunge na wenzangu wanaosema ya kwamba ni wakati sasa tusuluhishe hili swala la IEBC. Ndugu zetu wa Banisa sasa ni mwaka wa 2 wamekaa bila mwakilishi pale bunge.
Sifuna made a point. Sifuna was talking in if I remember well, Sifuna was talking while in Mandera about development. This is the third time the president is making Kakamega tour after 2022 general election. I'm seeing still projects launched. Zile zingine zenye launched last time hazijaisha. Oh, I may need to ask that question. You launch this, you launch that one, then you launch the other one. So it is just launching spree. Hakuna yenye imeisha hata moja since 2022. Wacha tuulize na upole. Hakuna yenye imeisha hata moja. I'm telling you. Now, what Sifuna is saying there is the question. The issue of calling Rigathi all the day probably, to me, doesn't make sense. But then that confirms matter what I was saying. In that Munyoro residence, MCS from Nakuru visited Rigathi Gachagua. Nakuru County. Today, another contingent of MCS from Murang'a County, around 27, visited Rigathi Munyoro. And then there was also another contingent from Kajiado. So this is what is making Ruto to panic. And you know, I'm feeling like they're making a mistake because, yes, Rigathi is not in ballot, according to what the Constitution says if you're impeached. But they're boosting the profile, and due to public interest, it will become extremely difficult for Rigathi not to vie in 2027. They're building the profile of Rigathi. I want you to imagine you impeach someone like Raila, and then Raila wants to vie, then IBC fails to clear him. It becomes out an election rigging. Now they're building the profile of Rigathi, and probably what Ruto has realized is that Rigathi might be on ballot 2027. He's gotten some intel that probably even in the corridors of courts, Rigathi might maneuver his way. Remember, the impeachment charges were not that strong. They were not substantiated. Number two, I think Ruto feels Natembeya, Kalonzo, and that Rigathi wing could actually tilt the scales in Western. Now, you want to take Western, you want Western to replace Mount Kenya. And then you're talking about, and that is why you choose to attack Rigathi. Is Rigathi taking Western votes? Is Rigathi taking Western votes? And this makes me think that this narrative of you are uniting the country is proxy. There's nothing like uniting the country. What Ruto and his team are doing, they're just running isolation card against Mount Kenya, and it is just divisive politics. I want to believe, if you believe that Rigathi has a threat profile of challenging you, then you'll understand that probably has a chunk of the masses. So they took time. Probably they didn't have a tactic. This is what used to happen on Raila was the other side. All government will go to attack Raila, and they just want to tribalize the 2027 election and not talk about the issues, because in real sense they don't talk about issues. And Ruto feels Sifuna right wing might back Rigathi. I don't know for what reason, but there is a lot of insecurity. Ruto is very insecure of Rigathi Gachagua and also the ODM wing. Probably, I think that is not the right place. That is not the right thing. Western, I don't think there is anyone in Bungoma in Busia who have said, we are going to vote Rigathi. I have not seen so. I've not even seen a delegation from Vihiga or a delegation from Kakamega going to Munyoro. So, let's wait and see. But I believe the point that troops to Munyoro residents don't sit very comfortable.